Okay, I don't know what that new moon be doing in Leo today, but it had me waking up with like the vim and vigor of a 12-year-old. I have like mapped out the rest of my week, mapped out the rest of my year. But I am like already at my office. It's 7 o'clock and I've got like 2 workshops to record for my spiritual workshop, which you haven't checked it out, you absolutely need to. Today I'm covering crystal magic and divination, which are two things that I know. Divination, hopefully, if I don't know anything about that, then I don't know what I'm doing. But crystal magic is something that I've picked up over the years. The more I channeled, the more I got into crystals, interestingly enough. But I've got that. I'm going to be posting my Substack meditation for spirit guides today as well to connect with your spirit guides. I did a whole recording, a true timed out recording, and then went to post it to Substack 2 days ago and realized that they have 5-minute limits. And guess what? You can't meet your spirit guides in 5 minutes. So I have to re-record that today. Anyway, boundless points of energy today. But I wanted to talk about something that mirrors timing. It's both astrological and it's just spiritual timing. And it's all about unmasking. Hold on, let me grab something real quick. I'm gonna grab the thing that is hopefully gonna keep me going with my energy. So, back in January of 2025, I saw this spike in what I call the beginning of the end of my clients holding boundaries, healthy boundaries in their interpersonal relationships. There's this almost like at the end of January, if you think back to what happened in your life during that time, there's this period of rawness. There were all these like little micro tests, specifically with like relationships, family, romantic, and friendships. These micro tests that were happening. And I saw my clients almost like their masks that they wear slipping off. And what I'm talking about is, when we go out into the world, or sometimes even when we're in a relationship and we haven't done the work around healing, we've got a series of masks. We've got, the happy one that's like everything's cool. We've got the hardworking, ambitious one. Whatever your ascendant sign, if you look at that astrological archetype, it kind of like fits into that. But it's the mask that we portray out into the world. And it's a conglomeration of abilities, talent, how we want to be perceived and seen in the world. It's also our traumas, it's trauma-informed mask. And then some of them are coping mechanism masks, a lot of times it's almost like when you get into a new relationship, you put the best foot forward, but, as you get to know people, you let go of that best foot in a way, and then some of the triggers come forward and some of the unmasking comes forward. Back in January, I saw a rash of that, of just people having situations where their masks would slip and they're like, oh shit, like what do I do if my mask is slipping off? And my answer was, figure out how you authentically are going to react, from this trauma, these triggers. And then of course in March and April, we go through the Venus retrograde and all of our masks slip off completely because we're in a full-on trigger space. I called it like opossum times because a lot of people, it's like when you go through a massive trauma and all of your triggers come forward and then all your mechanisms around coping come forward and then the grief is introduced around it, it's truly like who you are as a person in a penultimate moment in your life that feels like everything is slipping loose from your control. When I say penultimate, it's because we're at the final stage of that unmasking. So the beginning triggers around your mask slipping off would have started at the beginning of the year. And then Venus retrograde would have tested, really kind of put your feet to the fire to see how you would react to what was going on. And then almost like everything got thrown up in the air, and then the dust is settled at this point. And the new moon in Leo, to me, what it represents is a result of that. It's like now that the masks are off and they're like lined up on the wall in front of you, and you see and evaluate all the ways that you show up for yourself and other people in those moments of like tried and true triggers. Who are you? What are you? Right? Something that I myself am dealing with right now is I have a health situation where I found out I have like massive fibroids outside of my uterus. And for the first time, I'm having to rely on other people to medically help me get through it. I just discovered an incredible group of womb healers in Asheville, which I thought those words would never come out of my mouth. But if it happens, I have to have a hysterectomy. I'm gonna go holistic, first, and then figure out what I need to do with that before I have the massive surgery, because I don't believe that is my only option. And it's not yet. But I'm having to be the person asking for help right now and receiving it, which is something that is very difficult for me to do. It's extremely easy for me to do the reaching out and helping people. It's my second nature. But that's my mask coming off around that. And so everyone's unmasking right now can look different. I want you to kind of think about how it applies to you. But yeah, today is just, this season that we're in, this month that we're in is really what your focus should be in. And I will say this, the one thing I realized when I look back at 2025 and when I look ahead of what I know is going to happen as a psychic medium and a channeler, because I get a lot of messages from guides, unfortunately not for my own life, but more so for other people. I can't emphasize enough right now 3 things. I want you to practice being present. That's like the only thing I want you to really think and worry about is practice on being present. I want you to soak in the moments that you're in. I want you to look at our environment and go out and forest bathe or throw your tits in a waterfall or whatever that you need to do. I want you to step out into nature, because I'm gonna be honest with you, as climate shifts worsen, we're gonna see a lot of our most beautiful places disappear, whether it be fire or water or earthquake. So immerse yourself in nature and enjoy it for what it is. And then lastly, the third thing is the people who show up for you and the reciprocity in your relationships. I want you to take the rest of the year and really celebrate them. Don't lose touch with the people who actually show up and care about you. And also the people who kind of like eke your energy and steal it, or people where there's no reciprocity in your relationships. I want you to think about what they really mean to you. And if you need to move past them, then drop them with love, send them on their way with love. This unmasking that you're in the middle of right now is preparing you for what's going to happen in the next year, which is a whole other video, but we are going through extremely tumultuous times and they're only going to worsen. So 2025 should be about you doing the work about finding who you are, how you show up in your circle, and how you show up for yourself without a mask. Have a good one, guys.